Strange challenge. Good morning, people. My wonderful people. It's a lovely day. But I want to say, like, Thursday, I had just came back from Jamaica. Now, I don't know if I told you guys this or not, but if I did, I'm going to tell you again, right? Jamaica is a wonderful country, right? And some of the things that I viewed in Jamaica, right, were to a certain degree historical in nature for me, right? Being in a country that represents a lot of history. I mean, a lot of history, tons and tons of history, right? Um, Coupled with the fact that the majority of Jamaica, right, is actually entertained and ran, right, in the sense that the employment is primarily all Jamaican, all black people, right? And it was like I've never envisioned the 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 um, the desire or the notion that people of a darker skin pigmentation, right, had the ability to run a nation. But everybody in Jamaica that whatever the job may have entailed, right, it was done by black people, right? So, and my daughter said, "Well, you better enjoy this because this is the closest you're gonna ever get to Africa." And I am of the opinion, right, that she is absolutely unequivocally wrong in that regard because this trip has stimulated and motivated my desire to learn more about the African nations, right? I think, contrary to the fact that this particular administration would um, want or deem otherwise for, especially for the African American people, to learn their history, right? Me, I am not really concerned about that particular piece of information because if you don't know where you came from, you darn sure are not going to know where you're going, right? And so I think all the information that is available, right, in regards to the African nation and the ability to learn more about where you originally came from, right? That's what I'm doing. I'm not even tripping on what Donald J. Trump says, right? It's about what's in the best interest for uh, Jack Daniels of the Boxer Trainers Channel and the people that historically, right, built this country, built this world, right? And so, contrary to the fact that some say, right, people of color, that it's an embarrassment to um, that particular race who participated in a lot of stuff that happened in the great country of Jamaica and also in the great countries of Africa, right? So we want to know everything there is to know when it comes to these countries, right? And what really transpired, so we can leave something for our kids. You know what I mean? We don't. I mean, I don't. In my opinion, a lot of stuff that happens in the world today, especially when it comes to the violence associated with the communities and things of that sort, it is because we don't know, right, um, of our greatness. You know what I mean? I mean, I know, right, because I took the liberty of autodidactically learning on my own, right? The historical nature of Africa per se, right? And the people that came out of Africa that originally built this country and primarily the world to be what it is today. So let's be perfectly clear about this. I think that every man, black or white, should take the initiative to know about where they really came from. Everybody, right? Contrary to the fact that a lot of us of other colors, right, of other races, right, do not want to recognize the fact that we all originated from one source, one seed, right? I'm not going to get off into where that is because if you want to know, you'll look it up, right, and find out where you really came from. Anyway, let's do some boxing because politics is not something that, what I'm saying. This platform is originally about. This platform is about boxing, and so that's what we're gonna do this morning. We're gonna talk about some boxing, right? Now, Saturday, April 12th, New Jersey City, right? We saw what I think should be deemed thus far at as the fight of the year. which represents Jaron Boots Ennis versus Manus Stanionis. Welterweights, right? This was a unification fight, right? And there was a lot of question marks in regards to, especially Jaron Boots Ennis, and how would he deliver, right? With a lot of people has been saying that he was a phenom, right? And based on the fact that a couple of fights, right, prior to this fight, right, it had been established that, man, they putting too much on it. Deron Boots Ennis, right, really ain't a phenom, right? That's just a lot of hype and a lot of win and bags, and you know, what I'm saying, smoke and mirror, I should say, right? It wasn't so, right? And I want to be perfectly clear about this because I have to keep it 100. I can't speak for the other podcasts, but I, Jack Daniels of the Boxing Trading Channel, have to keep it 100, right? I was of the opinion that there might have been some validity to the fact that there may have been smoke and mirrors when it came to Jerron Booth Ennis. But let me say this in all fairness, right? Those ideas, those thoughts that resonate in a lot of our mind in regards to Jerron Boots Ennis and whether Jerron Boots Ennis should be considered as a phenom or not, right? That's gone with me, right? I'm not going to speak about Jerome Boots Ennis anymore in regards to his ability and his talents as a boxer. I didn't say a fighter. I said a boxer, man. You know what I mean? And I made the distinction between the two numerous times before in reference to a boxer, right, is a guy that risks life and limb, right, to perfect his craft to such a degree that he ain't getting in it to get popped and hit and knocked around, right? This idea of going into the ring as a boxer versus a fighter, right, is to hit and not get hit, right? Now, I will say this as a trainer, right? Jerron Boots Ennis has to have a better defense in regards to his ability to not be hit, right? The philosophy is hitting and not get hit, right? Jerron Boots Ennis takes too many punches. And there is a trainer's moment for his correction in that regard. You know what I mean? It's a simple process in regards to what needs to be done, but I'm not the trainer, right? But I would be willing to share my thoughts with the trainer, right? John Booth and his dad, right? There are some things that I see that I don't like, and I'm willing to share it with John Booth and his dad, right? You can get at me, right? And I ain't got a problem with sharing my ideals, right? And my thing is this, right? A lot of people have never heard of my abilities, right? You're never gonna know what my abilities are unless you get off that mindset of who is this cat? He don't know about boxing. How can you tell? You don't. I mean, look. Let's be perfectly clear. I wouldn't be saying that I'm a trainer, right? If I didn't think that I had the skills. My skills are, in my opinion, more consistent with perfection. You know what I mean? I have to have, man, look, it ain't gonna get, you're not gonna get no true 100% perfection in boxing, right? But you can darn sure try to get as close to it as you can. And that's what I strive for. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that I say, excuse me, a lot of things that I see in the ring with a lot of these young boxers, you know, a lot of these cats that have excellent records, right? A lot of them, I say that you need work, you need help. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm seeing too many flaws. In fact, I was contemplating changing the name of my podcast to something like uh, the correction trainer, right? Because I see a lot of stuff in the game, right, that I think that needs to be worked on. I'm talking about not just with boots. Man, look, I can get in the gym with a boxer, right, and break him down, right, and come up with some solutions for a lot of stuff that I see that I'm just like I just can't say that uh, these trainers or the boxers, right, are following command of the trainer, right. I'm quite sure a lot of the stuff that I see, the trainer is aware of it. But whether the boxer has the ability to follow instructions, that's another thing. We don't know. I don't know, right? But I'm just saying, I'm just throwing it out there for these trainers, right? That, in my opinion, in my highly educated boxing opinion, right, needs some help. And Boots is one of them in regards to his defense. He takes too many heavy shots to the head. Now, I will say this: you can sustain heavy shots to the head if you have muscle in your neck, right? 'Cause here's the deal: when you take a punch, right, your brain sits in a circle of gel, right? So when that gel is disrupted, right, as far as a punch, right, your head is your head is quickly moving, right? So that shaking the gel up that's holding your brain in place, right? That's how you lose unconsciousness. But there's a trick that, and I think that Jaron Ennis is aware of it and uses it, right, to build up your neck muscles to the point where when you take the impact to the punch, it's minimized by the muscles that have been built in your neck. You know what I'm saying? So when that punch comes, you steady up, right? You catch the impact of the pump, and you keep moving. I saw Jaron Ennis in that Stanionis fight take a lot of heavy shots. And he didn't, you know what I'm saying, show any that he was affected by it, right? And that tells me that he's been working on his neck strength. You know what I'm saying? That's the only way you're gonna take a fight. That's the only way you're going to sustain heavy shots. But me personally, I don't want to see a boxer take heavy shots, period. It's just not good. It's not a good look, right? And it's an avoidable piece of work that needs some attention. That's all, right? But now let's talk about this fight. And I think, right? I think Jaron Boots Ennis is 27 years of age. He's 5'10" with a 74-inch right, 74-inch arm reach. He's a right-hander. He has 34 illustrious wins based on the new win of over Stanionis, right? 29 illustrious, take that back, 30 illustrious knockouts. No losses, never been stopped, no draws, right? He is currently the WBA and the IBF unified welterweight champion of the world, right? And Stanionis is 30 years of age. He's 5'8" with a 68.1 inch. He's a right-hander, right? He had 15 wins, 9 by knockout, 1 loss to Jaron Boots Ennis, 1 stop by Jaron Boots Ennis, and no draws, right? Previously, he was the WBA welterweight champion of the world. Now, here's the deal with Stanionis, right? Stanionis, hey, everything that everybody expected of Stanionis, he delivered. He delivered as far as the things that I said was going to transpire. I actually had Stanionis over Jaron Boots Ennis, right? By a small margin, and I made note of that, right? I mean, it's a 50-50 fight, but I lean towards Stanionis because Stanionis's fights, right, have been more, the competition had been more compelling than any of the fights that Jaron Boots Ennis had with his opponents, right? So I'm saying I thought and believe, and I still believe that Stanionis had a darn good. His past opponents were very well, and even so, they were better than Boots's past performance in reference to his competition, right? So I leaned towards Stanionis, and for a minute there, up until the second round, right? Excuse me, Stanionis was putting in some powerful work, man. uh, Shout out to you too, Chris. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. I really do, man. Matter of fact, I'm gonna see if you see here. No, I ain't gonna do that because I don't want to get in trouble, right? But I appreciate the offer, brother. And soon I'll be monetized, and I'm gonna hold you to that. Support the channel. How about that, Chris? Matter of fact, hit that subscription button, brother, and join my channel. Because obviously, if you're talking about supporting the channel, you like the channel. And that's a good thing, because we need to be supported by the community, because the things that we say about boxing, we believe to be absolutely correct, right? But let's get back to Stanionis, man. Up until the second round, I was, excuse the term, hell bent on Stanionis walking away with the win, right? Up until the second round, until Jaron Ennis momentum changed, right? And you could tell when Jaron Ennis momentum changed because he started to, like, open up another layer of his offense, right? And his defense, right? You know what I'm saying? He started, like, smiling and doing things to Stanionis like that you didn't see every day in a ring with boxers, right? And I'm saying, oh, here he comes. And sure enough, you know what I'm saying? Boots came on with it, man. And I'm just here to tell you that I was really impressed with his offense and defense, other than the fact Jaron Boots takes too many punches to the head. Right? I said that before. You know what I mean? But the fact of the matter is he had a world-class opponent in Stanionis, right? Here's the deal with Stanionis. Stanionis is going to be able to change a lot of careers in the welterweight division. That loss is not going to be damaging to his reputation as a boxer, right? Because he demonstrated, right, not only to me, to the world, right, that he deserves to be up among the top of the echelon when it comes to that welterweight division, right? So all you champions, right, the WBC, the WBO, right, and the welterweight energy, you got to go through Jaron Boots. And I think, I hate to say this because I just really adore what is he, the WBA, WBO, right? He's a WBO welterweight champion. What's that boy's name? Brian Norman Jr., right? I like Brian Norman Jr. a lot. I mean, I like Brian Norman Jr., but you know what I'm saying? Realistically speaking, because that's what this channel is about, right? I don't think Brian Norman Jr. stands a snowball chance in hell of beating Boots. You know what I mean? Look, nothing personal. You know what I'm saying? And I actually think Brian Norman Jr. is my I have a relationship. His last name is Norman. That's my mom's maiden name. May she rest in peace, right? Norman, right? And Norman is kind of a popular name, but when it comes to us as a people, right, it's not really that normal, right? If you know what I mean, right? So I'm not. What I mean, what I'm trying to say is that I'm not taking sides because I like Boots more than I like Brian Norman Jr. because I do like Brian Norman Jr. because Brian Norman Jr. got a lot of grit, right? He just needs to work on a certain. See, I'm telling you, that's what I do. I critique boxers, man. He just needs to work on being a little more aggressive, and you know what I'm saying, trying to. No, not try. Ain't no trying in boxing, y'all. You heard me? Ain't no trying in boxing. If you do, you don't, right? And Brian Norman Jr. has to be a little more colorful, right, in his presentation, right, in his offense and defense, right? Because to me, in my opinion, a person like Jaron Ennis, I just don't want to think of the outcome right now. You know what I'm saying? I just don't want to think of it. And the WBC, what's that kid's name? Mario Barrios, right? Look, at the end of the day or night, Jaron Ennis needs to stay right where he is and play this out, right, and become undisputed. Because in my highly educated boxing opinion, Jaron Ennis is easily has the ability to be undisputed welterweight champion of the world. His demonstration over Stanionis demonstrated that can't nobody stop Boots in that division. Not right now. Now you get to talking about the Crawfords, the Errol Spence Juniors. I don't know. At this juncture, I just don't know. Right. Now, if Boots took another fight, right, and prevail in the fashion that he did over Stanionis, we're gonna have to do some. We're gonna do some real serious. We're gonna have to have a real analytical conversation about those particular fights because I just don't know, man. The phenom measured up to actually being considered as a female. And let's talk about the pound for pound list for a minute. Move over somebody on that top 10 for sure, pound for pound list, because Jaron Ennis, again, has demonstrated that there is nowhere in boxing where Jaron Ennis doesn't fit into the top echelon of boxing. You feel me? That being said, man, hit that subscription, hit the like button, drop a comment in the comment section, and let me know if y'all think that Jaron Ennis should be on the top 10 pound for pound list. Come on, man. I mean, drop a comment in the comment section and let me know if y'all think that Jaron Ennis is capable enough or worthy enough to be on the top 10 pound for pound list. And share the dang video with your friends and relatives. It ain't gonna cost a dime. That being said, man, appreciate you. I got to go. Later.